Hey to the most amazing nurses. It is Dr. V here with Morning Infusion with Dr. V podcast, where we are intentional about teaching nurses how to work from anywhere around the world, making money and owning your own time, building profitable nurse coaching and consulting businesses. You will hear from amazing guests that have grown their companies and want to share insight into how you can do the same to change the face of healthcare as we know it. If you want to grow your businesses and leverage your knowledge as a nurse to grow wildly successful businesses at the top, instead of working your way to the top, head on over and join our Millionaire Nurse CEO group on Facebook, where you can ask questions and get updates on our live and virtual events to help you grow your businesses. Good morning, everyone. And so I wanted to come on this morning and kind of chat about the 5 most costly mistakes that nurses make whenever they're going into business. I wish someone had just sat me down and told me about this, but however, here we are today so that I can help you. Now, the number one mistake is that sometimes when nurses go into business, they don't treat their business like a real business, right? They kind of treat it like a side hustle. And so they don't set certain hours, and you have to set, this is the deal. You want to set certain hours that you are working. Now, at the beginning, you may be working a little bit more than what you normally would work, right? But you still want to set the hour. So basically what we do kind of now is that, without a shadow of a doubt, typically we take off Sundays, right? But we're still building a global brand. And so because of that, we still had those times when we are working, right? And it's okay because, whenever you have an online business, and this is the good thing and the bad thing about building an online business, is that number one, an online business never closes the doors. That's a good thing. Now, it's also a bad thing because, people can contact you at any point in time that they can. And so you have to set those boundaries. I remember someone saying to me that they got mad because someone contacted them at 5 o'clock in the morning. I said, well, did you set the boundary that they couldn't contact you at 5 o'clock in the morning? Right? You have to set the boundary. Like my clients will contact me after 9 o'clock. And I tell them, I'm not going to probably talk to you after 9 o'clock, but I will send you back a text message at 4 a.m. And I pre-warned them about that, okay? Because that's what time we get up in the morning. And so they are okay with it. Now, normally, if you're not a client of ours, we won't do that. However, we pre-warn them. We put your phone on silent. And then once you wake up, then you can get the message, right? And you want to take the steps to build your business and build your business right. Now, this is number two is skipping the foundation of the business. Now, that is huge. And let me tell you the reason why. Nurses, this is huge for nurses because nurses, you have a professional license, right? And so you want to make sure that you're building your foundation. So in certain states, you start your business as an LLC or a PLLC. It just depends on which state that you're in. PLLC, this is limited liability corporation. Of course, you can go to S Corp and C Corp and all of that. But at the beginning, it's usually an LLC, right? And a PLLC, you have to check with your state board of nursing because your state board of nursing is the one who determines, right, whether you have to have a PLLC or an LLC. Now, a PLLC, all that means is professional limited liability company. Now, if you are a lawyer, if you are a physician, or if you're a nurse, then in those states, you have to have a PLLC if you are starting a healthcare company. And so you just check with your state board of nursing to determine whether you have to do that or not. Then once you get your structure form, you go to the Secretary of State, all right, to get your structure form. Now that's going to cost you a little bit of money. It costs you maybe $200 or, depending on the state. Some as high as $300. But then you also need to get your EIN. Now don't do like Viola did, Dr. V, okay? Because what I did was I went and because they're going to send you, once you apply at the Secretary of State, they're going to be people who are going to send you these text messages. And those text messages are, for you to sign up and get them to sign you up with your EIN. The EIN is super easy to get and it's free. You go to irs.gov in order to get your business signed up. That's like the social security number for your business. Now, the reason why you want to do that and you want to make sure that you're doing that is because then it separates you, it gives you some limited liability coverage, right? Because you are, you're a nurse, right? And so you want to make sure that you have some separation between you and the company. And so this separates you from the company. Another thing that is I found to be one of the things that people don't do right is that you want to make sure that you are not commingling money. Okay. Now that affects you down the road if you ever want to borrow some money. Okay. Now I encourage you to learn how to make some money before you borrow some money, but that's just, at the end of the day, that's what that is. So this is the deal. You want to make sure that you have your company formed right. Now, what I mean by that is that once you get your LLC and you get your EIN, then you're going to take those numbers, you're going to go to the bank, all right? And you're going to go to the bank and you're going to tell the bank that you're here to form a business account. Now, that business account, right, will serve as where all of your money from the business goes to. None of your personal money needs to go into that account. Now, there's 4 accounts that I encourage you to open, right? The first account I encourage you to open is a salary account. So that salary account is for you and your salary. A lot of times what people do is they go into business and then they don't pay themselves. They stick it back all into the business. And some pay themselves too much, all right? But you need to have a reasonable amount. That's what the government says, a reasonable amount for you to be paid yourself by the business. Now that's your salary account. The second account is your growth account. Okay, you want to make sure that you have some money in your account for the growth of your business, right? Also, an operations account for your everyday operations. So you want to make sure you have that. And then of course, the last one is taxes, because typically you're not going to get out of paying taxes. Sometimes you can, right? But you're going to at least pay some taxes, but you pay less taxes on your business than you do if you work for someone else. Let's be clear about that, right? But you want to have that bank account that's there and not commingling money. And then you want to have a company that helps you, whether it be ADP, Gusto. There's several companies out there that you go in, you tell them how much you want to be paid every 2 weeks. That money gets automatically taken out. If you are like we are, they're automatically taken out of that account, and then it goes into your personal account so that you can pay your personal bills and things of that nature. Now, if you have an own, and this is another thing that you want to know too, if you have a home office, some of the things that you pay for at home, they can be paid for from your business account because they're used for your business. And of course, you have to talk to your CPA. I'm not here to tell you what to do on that end. However, that's one of the things that you can definitely do. But there's lots of tax benefits in mrbomb.com. Now, this is one that I find a lot of nurses have problems with, and this is fear of visibility. Let me tell you something about nursing. Nursing and traditionally is nurses kind of bully each other sometimes, right? And so what you want to ensure is that you don't have, it doesn't matter what people think about you. It doesn't matter. What people think about you is none of your business, right? You need to have a few people who are around you, and those few people who are around you, you want them to be telling you whether you're kind of ratchet or whether that didn't look right or things of that nature. You don't want to have somebody, Sally Joe, that don't even care anything about you, bullying you into decreasing your visibility. Visibility is the way in which if people don't see you, then they can't buy from you. There's people out here who have amazing, like they make the best cakes. There's people out here who make the best shirts. They make the best jewelry. They have they do amazing things. Like they're great at doing hair. But their visibility is not there, right? And when it comes to coaching and consulting, like whatever you do as far as coaching and consulting in the nursing arena, you want to make sure that you have that visibility. If you're the best renal consultant, you want them to know. If you're the best wound care consultant, you want people to know who you are, so that whenever they get ready to buy from you, then they're ready to buy from you and they know that you exist and that you're out there in the marketplace. Only 2 to 3% of the marketplace is ready to buy whenever you're ready to purchase. Whenever ready to buy, whenever you're ready for them to purchase. The thing about it is that you want to make sure that you are out there so that they see you, because eventually they'll be like, well, okay, I think I need this person. And then they'll go back to you because you stayed visible the entire time. I mean, when you look at Will Smith and Martin Lawrence, whenever they came out with that third film, now they are pretty famous, right? But whenever they came out with that third film, you saw them all over the place. And you see people all over the place whenever they're trying to promote their product, right? They'll do the morning lineup. They'll make sure that they're there. That's what you want to do. You want to be visible and do not care what other people say about you. And if they say anything bad, then block them. Okay? No problem. All right. Now, next. The next thing is not getting a coach. Now, this was two of my cheat codes was number one, getting a coach. Okay. Because I don't know, there are nuances in your business that you don't know what the nuances are, right? So you want to make sure that you are getting a coach that specifically understands your unique pain point whenever you're going through whatever you're going through, because there's several iterations of your business that you will go through, right? So like, for example, when I first started, now I'm huge when it comes to, and I'm a contract girl, right? Because I understand that you can't, like when people come and they volunteer at my business or at my conference, they get a contract. Everybody gets a contract, right? And the reason why is because I really, really want to, I don't want to set myself up for liability. And one of the things that happens is I wouldn't have known that had I not had a coach, right? I wouldn't have known to do all those safety parameters had I not had a coach. And I have seen people who did not have a coach who have gotten into legal trouble or even lost their businesses because of the fact that they did not have a coach. A coach is really the thing that transforms you. You're also typically in you're in a community of people that are helping to move you forward and helping to push you, right? And one of the things that I say about VP nursing, of course, this is a plug for VP nursing. The one thing about VP nursing that I pride myself on is that we don't allow any negativity to come into the community, right? We want to make sure that you're always positive. We want to make sure that you're always supportive. And that's one of the things that nurses absolutely need. I probably should have had this up here. You may not be able to hear me. I'm not used to talking with this mic. But that's one thing that you absolutely need within your space, right? You want to ensure that you have a community of people that support you, a community of people that's there for you, a community of people that can answer questions that you may not be able to answer, right? And even in the community, I mean, the coach knows a lot typically, but there may be some things that the coach may not know that you know. So it's important for you to be that person and to get into that community of people. And then, of course, listen. I want you to listen to me, and I want you to listen to me clearly. All right, I'm going to speak into the microphone. When you are in business, it is about sales. Sales are important. And one of the things I think that we avoid as nurses, because was my mindset when I first came into the business, is that I was like, well, I don't want to sell. I didn't have to sell. People came into the emergency department. I didn't have to sell them on coming to the emergency department. But the reality is that you want to ensure that you are selling to your clients. And we do sell all the time, right? So we sell for sure. Viola, okay? Used to sell taking medications to patients, or used to sell, having them when it came to having procedures, because I believe that the procedure was something that they needed, right? Or I believe that the medication was something that they needed. And, whenever you have children, you got to convince them all the time, right? Because at the end of the day, so you have to care about the people that you're serving, right? You have to care about them. So you want to have a sales strategy. However you get your clients in, you want to make sure that your clients are coming to you on autopilot. And if you don't have a sales strategy, then it doesn't work. Now, what that involves is, number one, having a niche. You want to have a niche of people that you're serving. People will be like, well, I'm serving everybody. No, you're not. If you're serving everybody, you're serving no one. You need to have one person that you're serving, one problem that you're solving until you get to $1 million. That's what you want to do, right? You want to make sure that you're doing that so that you can move the needle forward. Have the sales strategy. Also understand sales. Don't get and have a resilience to no, because people are going to tell you no sometimes, and it's okay. That means that they're not betting on themselves. It does not mean that your product is not good enough unless it's not good enough, okay? But however, what you want to make sure of is that you're developing a product that's really, really good so that they don't have a problem in saying yes to your product. But the reality is that when you are selling, okay, when you sell the first time, one of the things that you have to understand is the law of numbers, right? When you understand the law of numbers, so, 1 out of 10 sales is what you'll get. 1 out of 10. So you'll have 9 people will tell you no, and then you'll have 1 that will tell you yes. So that's how you have to understand it. That's how you have to move forward. And it's okay, because you'll get 3 no's and you'll be like, this ain't for me. Lord, this is not what you designed for me. No, it's just that you don't have enough reps. Like, you don't have enough people that you have gotten in front of. Like, you want to make sure that you're getting in front of as many people as you can. Because at the end of the day, one of the things that you need to understand is that you are amazing. And in order for you to build the company and build it big, you have to be able to understand what the numbers mean. Also, you want to make sure that you are tracking your data. Tracking data is huge. We run ads. So we run cost per lead. We run how many applications that we're getting. We run we do all of that in order to understand where our numbers are coming from. Like, you want to track all that data. It's huge, because then when you look back over the data, then you can understand what went right, what went wrong, how you can move forward. But if you don't have any data, then you don't know how to move forward. It's just like whenever you're in the hospital. Now, those of you who are in management, then you understand it. And especially in the emergency department, I used to understand it all the time, because, we had all these times, like we had door to doc, door to triage, door to admission, right? All these times, those are measures. And we measure those measures because then that determines, like without being seen, that determines whether we are doing good or not. It also is subjective to whether our patients are taken care of right. So this correlates to what the things that you take care of, and the things that you do while you're in healthcare. Those are the things that you want to take from healthcare, and you want to do those same things in your business, because it works in healthcare with evidence-based practice, right? You want to make sure that you're understanding evidence-based practice, and it's evidence-based practice based off of your business. And it's important that you collect all those numbers, but you want to strategically collect the numbers and go back over them to see what went right, what went wrong, and how you can further advance your business. And think big. Because a lot of people are like, well, if I get $20,000 a month, I'm okay. No. You want $1 million to be the floor, and $1 million being the floor is $83,333 a month. Okay. And so you want that to be the floor of your business. You want to make sure that you're moving the needle forward each day. And that's just the beginning, right? Because you want to move move the needle forward in a way so that you can affect more people. And it essentially affects you. Building your team along with that. You can probably get to 6 figures, you yourself in AI, right? But you probably won't get to 7 figures with you yourself in AI. You want to build a team, and you want to build a culture within your team that's a great culture. Listen, you can't come over here and start acting foolish, right? There's no lack of integrity. You have to ensure that you are doing what's right. And so those are the 5 biggest mistakes. So I want you to drop in the chat, and I want you to tell me what mistake that you thought was one that you may have made, or what mistake that you think that you can definitely avoid in the future, or how valuable this was. Just drop in the chat and let me know. And you, ladies and gentlemen, have an amazing rest of your day. Bye-bye.